Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and the Supreme Court may be getting prepared to step in to the Donald Trump immunity claim case and also the 14th Amendment cases that are keeping him off ballots in some liberal states like Colorado and Maine, at least for the time being. Well, now there's some pressure on one Supreme Court justice, maybe more. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So, Jamie Raskin was on State of the Union on New Year's Eve. He's a congressman, a Democrat congressman, hard anti-Trumper, was an impeachment manager. And he's calling on the recusal of Clarence Thomas from the case. But that's not really the main issue, right? So the host, Dana Bash, she says, hey, 3 of the justices were appointed by Trump. Should they recuse themselves? Yes, of course. Let's have those 3 justices recuse themselves. And Thomas, in fact, let's just have 3 liberals decide this. What do you have the Supreme Court there for? So in any case involving a former president, if you appointed the justice, they should recuse themselves? That's psychotic. They've already weighed in on tons of cases involving President Trump. So it's not going to happen. And Thomas isn't going to recuse himself, as Raskin admits. It's what Raskin says at the end of this video that has people concerned. Because it sounds like he's making a veiled threat. Now, I can't say that for sure. I want to know what it sounds like to you, so please let me know in the comments. Before I show you the video, I want to ask you again to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody. Now let's watch this clip.
The Constitution changed the Constitution.
3 of the sitting justices were appointed by Donald Trump. And in addition to that, Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny, texted with Mark Meadows about the 2020 election and the lead up to January 6th, as you will know. Should any of the justices recuse themselves if they take this up?
Well, finally, the Supreme Court has developed what they're describing as a code of ethics. It's not binding in the sense that they're not going to anyone else. They could have gone to, for example, circuit court justices. You could have had state Supreme Court justices on a panel. But so they're deciding for themselves, again, whether they're in violation of their code of ethics. But I think anybody looking at this in any kind of dispassionate, reasonable way would say if your wife was involved in the big lie and claiming that Donald Trump had actually won the presidential election, had been agitating for that and participating in the events leading up to January 6th, that you shouldn't be participating.
So he should recuse himself.
He should. Oh, he absolutely should recuse himself. The question is, what do we do if he doesn't recuse himself?
How quickly do you think that the Supreme Court will weigh in on this, if they will at all? You assume that they will, right?
Yeah. I mean, under constitutional federalism, every state is ultimately going to control its own ballot access and access to candidates for the ballot. And that is obviously difficult when we're talking about electing the president, who is the one official we've got in America who is supposed to represent the entire country, represent everybody. And so I think that the urgency is for the Supreme Court to act. But I think it's going to be tough for some of them if they want to keep Trump on the ballot, if they're falling for the argument that this is undemocratic. I mean, is it undemocratic that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jennifer Granholm can't run for president because they weren't born in the country? If you think about it, of all the forms of disqualification we have, the one that disqualifies people for engaging in insurrection is the most democratic, because it's the one where people choose themselves to be disqualified. In terms of your age or where you were born, that's not up to you. But Donald Trump is in that tiny, tiny number of people who've essentially disqualified themselves.
You're a constitutional scholar. You're also a politician. What about the argument that this is just going to make him a martyr?